Hello everybody and welcome to the video. If you're new here, welcome in. If you're coming back, welcome back. Happy to have you here. So this video, I'm gonna go ahead and preface it. It's gonna be a yapping video. If you don't want to hear me yap for like half an hour straight, maybe like the video, maybe consider subscribing. Check out another one of my videos that's not just me nerding out and geeking out about Dungeons and Dragons. Anyways, so Dungeons and Dragons, in case you're not aware, as a it's a tabletop roleplay game. But how I like to describe it is imagination for adults. You basically can do literally whatever you want, because you could just homebrew everything and like slap the D&D label on it, or tabletop roleplay game on it, and it's just good old fun. So I recently made a, well, it wasn't, by the time that I'm making this voiceover, it was a while ago, but like, that's not important, the details aren't important, you don't need to know that, movie magic, baby. Anyways, this video is gonna be a little unhinged, if you can't tell. I don't know why I'm feeling so, goofy, but I am, so, but yeah, this drawing is of the D&D campaign, the party, that I'm currently hosting because I am a game master. Ooh! So, I mean, if you don't want to watch the video, that's fine. Just maybe like and maybe subscribe. Consider it. But if you do stick around, be prepared to hear me yap! Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. So, let's get straight to it, alright? Okay, so I do want to say as well, if the cropping of, the video looks a bit weird, that's because I may or may not have started using OBS, and I may or may not, hypothetically, theoretically, didn't test it before committing to recording. So the formatting, it looks a little weird, because I draw on a tablet that's connected to my laptop. So when the OBS was recording, it recorded my tablet, but like the tablet's bigger than the laptop, so it was a whole thing. Anyways, it's not important, it's not relevant. I was just saying, if it looks a little weird and not like how I normally have my setup, that's why. Because OBS was being silly and goofy and not in a cute fun way. Anyways, move on, Corvid. It's not that important. God. Okay, so regarding the campaign itself, okay, this is fun. So this is technically my second time like hosting a game for D&D, etc., Inc. Incorporated. The first time was a one-shot, and it was a horror one-shot, and it was a whole lot of fun. And then I just sort of fell out of it for like a good couple months, which sucked because I really liked it. But now then I converted people. I begged my best friend. I was like, please just give D&D a try. Just give it a try, give it a shot. And she was like, okay, but I want to do my first game like just you and me one-on-one. And I was like, okay, I can make that work. So we did that, and then we slowly started converting other people. So now we have a whole group, and I've never been more ecstatic in my entire life. It's so much fun. Oh my god. In regards to like the characters' designs themselves, I had like they gave me a very vague they gave me a vague sort of description of each of their characters, which was fine. It was mostly the clothing that threw me off, and I was like, oh god, okay, how am I gonna do this? But I figured it out, and it looks good, and they're all happy with how they turned out, so like it's not that big of a deal, okay? Because yeah, but out of everyone's design, hers gave me the most strife. And we'll get into the introductions of each character and like the players and stuff. Okay, we'll get there. All right, we'll just relax and calm down. So yeah, but hers gave me the most strife and frustration. But I think honestly too, it was because I'm not used to drawing like super duper tall characters, tall, lengthy characters, and she's also buff, so it doesn't translate very well. If I could redo it, I would, okay? Because there's things that I would change, but like, for the first time in drawing the characters, it was decent. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't horrible. Anyways, the little creature that she's holding has a whole story to it, and we'll get to this. We'll get to this story. But he's a mimic. But a barrel mimic. He's barreling around. But anyways, I digress. So before I get into like some of the stories, which I'll save for the coloring section because it's much longer, and I don't want to sit here and try and cram like a hour's worth story into 5 minutes. So this was the entire party's first time playing. Like overall, like it was every single person's first time playing, minus mine, because I had technically already done a one shot, and I had started a campaign, but then we never finished it, and I was a player in that. But anyways, so this was all their first time, and it has been such a doozy. Like, to put it lightly, it's been a doozy. Positive. I don't know if they're gonna watch this. Some of them may watch this, so if you're watching this, you know who you are. I love you. You guys are doing great. It's going fantastic, and I'm glad you guys are having fun. But yeah, so this is their first time playing like anything remotely tabletop roleplay or like D&D adjacent. And I'm saying D&D adjacent because I know there's people out there who will get upset if I call this D&D like specifically, because it's technically not, because it's technically homebrew. I just use a lot of D&D like structures, and I was like, yeah, this can work in the setting that they're currently in, which is the Wild West. They're in the middle of the desert, so tell me why 2 of them can't stand the heat. Yeah, that was one thing too. Like 2 of the players, they went up to me and they were like, hey, I want to be a dark elf. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, aren't they like sensitive to sun? And she was like, yeah, but it'll be fine. And I was like, all right. And then another player was like, yeah, I want to be a half I want to be half draconian. And I was like, oh, that's cool, that's dope. And then she was like, yeah, but I want it I want it to be half ice draconian. And I was like, you do know that we're in the middle of the desert, right? We're in the middle of the desert. But it's okay. It's silly, it's goofy, it's literally fantasy, it's literally not that serious. So it's a whole lot of fun. And yes, I love all their characters. All their dynamics too are just hilarious to watch and to see unfold. They committed their first arson. I just thought I would, I just thought that I would get that out there. I think it's an important piece of information for the public to know. They committed their first arson. They burnt down a whole town. So that's, yeah, I mean, listen, you know how it is. Sometimes, instead of facing your problems head on, you just gotta burn it down to ash until there's nothing left, and then you flee the scene and you never look back until you do. So but yes, they have committed arson already. I didn't tell them to do that either, just to put that out there. I wasn't like, you could burn down the whole town. The only thing I said, technically speaking, was that they had foreseen a vision of the town burning. Whether or not that was me saying you should burn down the town, there was ambiguity, and you know what I'm trying to say. Anyways, they burned down a town. So that's fun. It was their first town too. They're in their second town right now. The camping's not even close to being done. There's a good couple of things they gotta do before they get to find out all the big bad and all that jazz. But yeah, and so I was I remember they had sent me their characters' background stories, and they're already so depressing. I didn't even get a chance to, like, traumatize them. They did it for me before I could even come in swinging. That's not fair. Also, yes, I did trace the cowboy hats, okay? But, like, here's the thing. Hats confuse me thoroughly. I don't know why. They're something that I cannot draw very well. And at this point, I was starting to get very tired. And I just wanted to get to the coloring phase because I literally was getting so tired. And I couldn't do it. Okay, you know what? I don't even feel bad. Okay? I don't even feel bad. Because the great Renaissance artists used like a picture obscura or whatever. So like I don't even feel bad. I don't even feel bad. I hand drew the guns, so you know what? It makes up for it. I think. I don't know. But yeah. Hats are hard. Hats are not easy. they're not easy, but it's okay. Anyways, here they are in their full-ish glory. As you can see, I reused a lot of different things, such as the pistol holders, because I was lazy. Anyways, yeah, let's just get to the coloring, and then we're gonna chat, and we're gonna yap about so much. You guys are gonna be sick of my voice, but that's okay. Because I get to yap, I get to chat, I get to blabber on and on about D&D. Okay, anyways, let's get to it. Okay, I'm gonna give mini introductions on each of the characters. So, from left to right, starting with her, this is Jane. Okay, she's a human, and she is a fighter. Okay, we're gonna go race, and we're gonna go class. Just so everyone kind of gets a gauge and a feel for everyone, okay? Next is Wyatt. He's not shown in this right here, but he's next. Okay, just trust me. Just trust me on this one. So Wyatt, he is half elf, and he is a druid. Then we have Dathana, who is dark elf, and she is a cleric. Okay, and then we have Irelis, who is half draconic and half elf, and she is a monk. And then, last but not least, we have our soul tiefling, Anakis, who is our ranger. So, now that we all have an introduction of each of them, we can talk about the silly, goofy stories. Okay, so, listen, alright? I am the kind of GM, DM, whatever you want to call me, who I'll let a lot of things slide, just for the giggles of it. Like, we're here to have fun. We're here to have fun. Okay, so I mentioned before about the barrel mimic. Basically, what happened was at this point they had uncovered and unearthed the crypt that then leads to some tunnels under the town, right? These tunnels, more specifically, have bones in them. Sound familiar, huh? That's because they're catacombs. They are catacombs. Anyways, so they went down to this catacomb crypt thing, as one does, and At this point, they were, they were like, this town's a little odd, but like nothing too crazy. There was nothing too crazy going on. So they went down to this catacombs, and they were looking around, peeping around. Daythana ended up splitting up. They all ended up splitting up, but Daythana went to one side as the paths branched off with Ireless. And so they were going off out and about, and then they got attacked by a mimic. And they were gonna kill it. They had it, pretty down low on health. At that point, Ireless had backed off a bit and felt kind of bad. But then Daythana felt even more bad, and she was like, "Can I heal it?" And I was like, "You gonna heal the thing that tried to attack you?" Okay. And she was like, "Yeah, I want to heal it, and I want to try and tame it." And she rolled a natural 20. So I couldn't say no. So now she has a pet barrel mimic that she quite literally carries around with her on her shoulder everywhere she goes. And it's the ongoing bit of the entire campaign. That alongside with her bit of whenever someone asks her, it could be an NPC or it could be literally one of the other party members. Anytime someone asks her where she's from, the answer constantly changes. I don't know why. I don't know why she chose this bit, but she won't stop. And I don't know what to do about it. It's too silly now, and it can't be changed. So here we are, we're stuck with this forever and ever. Technically the very first session that we had, it was with me and my best friend, who I convinced and converted, and she was learning the ropes, and I started off with an action sequence because I had pre-written this campaign and I didn't really feel like rewriting the introductory. So it was an action sequence and a fight and a battle and stuff. And they were basically fighting undead dogs, as one does. And so Anakis, she was like, "Oh, I'm a sharpshooter," because that's why she picked Ranger, because she wanted to be a sharpshooter. And she was like, "Oh, well, I'm a sharpshooter, so I'm gonna put my hand in the dog's mouth and then shoot it in the head to be a badass." And so she did that. But then when she shot the gun, the dog clamped down on her hand. And it left a nasty, nasty scar. So now she has a sort of messed up left hand. So that's fun. And ever since then, she has just made poor decision after poor decision, and it's genuinely one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. I mentioned their dynamics too, and they're just so much fun. Literally, Wyatt is an old man who doesn't want to be here. He doesn't know why he's here. He doesn't know why he's hanging out with this group who just are constantly getting in trouble. I think he just has a taste for danger, and he's like, you know what? Why not? I got nothing better to do. Might as well. At least I got company and I can make a funny story out of it. And then there's Ireless, who literally is so naive and gullible to everything ever. Like, Anakis told her, she was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna put some tiefling blessings on some gravestones. Do you want to help? Do you want to help me? Cause like you can probably talk to people better than I can, cause they don't like tieflings and they don't trust me." And she was like, "Oh my god, that's so nice of you to do that." And then there's like Anakis, who's just constantly getting in trouble and constantly just either stealing from people or gambling or God knows what. And then you have, who needs a bard when you have a butch buff cleric wife who's just gonna riz everyone up? That's literally all she does. Every time they meet someone new, she gives me a look, she gives me like a little smirking look, and she's like, "Okay, but like, can I riz them up?" I was like, "You gotta calm down. We don't need a bard. we have our cleric, and we love her for it." And then there's Jane, who's probably the most level-headed out of all of them. Um, she's a little silly and she's a little goofy too, though. So like, we love her. We love them all. They're all just so much fun. I can't even begin. Like, I love them. I love them so much. Anyways, the drawing is almost over. I had to redo Daythana's, everything quite a few times because again, hers gave me the most trouble, but that's just because I was trying to match the colors and tones, and it was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. All right, okay, it was rough, but we got there. There's like an overarching plot, or at least one of them, where there's like a necromancer that they have to deal with, and like they're trying to figure out who to trust and who they can't trust, and why they're even bothering with helping these towns, and it's a whole thing. It's a whole lot of fun though, and if you at all thought that anything I said was interesting, maybe you should give D&D a shot. Maybe you should give it a try. um, as far as like YouTubers or podcasts go, definitely watch Critical Role. Watch Just Roll with it. It's a whole lot of fun. Um, yeah, I like blabbering about my silly goofy little D&D experiences, and I don't ever shut up. So, I honestly could have made like a 2 hour long video just talking about all they're experiencing and what has happened and the funny stories and whatnot. But I didn't want to bore you guys. Okay, this is already almost 30 minutes long, so I didn't want to go crazy. But if you made this far, thank you so much for watching. Here's the final product. Be sure to subscribe, like the video, comment maybe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Alright, here's the final product.